Hey everyone, I'm Felix from the Tuesday Night Machines YouTube channel, and I'm here with Jakob Haq from attaQ with the Q.
Yeah, with Qs.
Awesome,
yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me here, because you are the guy for the whole mobile iOS production stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people say so, but I won't claim it for myself, but I'm really into it, yeah. Definitely.
And I've been a fan of the iPad since the first one came out, I think 2010 or something like that. And then Korg put out their iMS-20 app, their iElectribe apps, and I love that for beat making and making music just on the go. But it has always been for me this weird, non-really computerish device.
Yeah.
It's awesome, the touchscreen works well, we have good compatibility with MIDI and audio interfaces, but for me it was always very difficult to get a good workflow going, and there are millions of apps and I kind of lost track of them, so I'm really happy that you are here. I can just grill you on this topic because I have a feeling that you've got that figured out pretty well.
Yeah, I have, both yes and no. Because this is the thing, I come from a background where I've gone everywhere from recording stuff to tapes, to from everything from reel to reel to like 4-track reel to reels to DAT tapes. I've recorded on mini discs. I was an early adopter, and I also quit very early with that because it wasn't really a viable solution. I've also done the Porta Studio. I went through the Amiga tracking, the C64 programming, the keyboards and stuff, all of that stuff.
Wow.
Into PC world with my big tower computer with Cream Fusion software platforms and DSP cards, and now I'm here doing it on the iPad, and it wasn't easy to start. So as when I started, I didn't know anything, and the first thing I had was an iPhone. So what I was trying to do was to find solutions where I could do the stuff I used to do on my tower and my hardware and all the gear I had, but on the iPhone only, right?
Wow.
Which wasn't easy. But I did find a few apps, and I began with like iKaossilator from Korg and Figure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's evolved. And as you say, it's a non-computerish kind of style. Well, something has happened with the introduction of something called audio unit extensions.
Right, but that is really recent, right? That hasn't been out for that long. It's like, what, 2 years-ish?
I would say three, but yeah, we could say 2, absolutely. And what they allow you to do is basically, before that, you had something, you had stand-alone apps. You, like Thor here from Propellerhead, which is one of the best synths out there.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to best, but this is one I use a lot.
I downloaded this right when it came out because I knew it briefly, from the desktop version, and yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And the thing is, it's a modular synthesizer, but it's got a matrix style interface, and it's got modules so you can switch out the oscillators on it. But that's not what we're going to talk about. The thing with this is that it's standalone. It's one thing, so it has something called inter-app audio. It's a protocol for sending sounds in and out of other apps that can support that.
So you don't need like a host, like a DAW, where everything is running inside. You can just have multiple apps running, and they just send their audio almost like patch cables between the apps, right?
You can send it to any app that supports inter-app audio. So if it's sampler app and it does that, if it's a DAW, but it doesn't load like a plugin, like a VST plugin or an audio unit. Not audio unit extension, because they're different on iOS, but like an audio unit or an AXX, I think they're called AAX or something like that. So it doesn't load like a plugin into the channel strip, right? Yeah. But an audio unit extension does.
Okay.
So suddenly you're now coming into something that looks more like a computer, what you do in a computer and a tower. So you have something like Cubasis from Steinberg, which is an awesome German company. Since we're in Germany, I just thought I'd shout that out. Maybe that's a bit contrived, I don't know. But I've been using their stuff since ages back, long back.
Okay.
I'm a bit older than most people think, but I'm hitting my 40s now. So I've seen the first version of Cubase. I've seen it on very, very, what do you call, like, not the type of computers we have today with the gigahertz and everything. We're talking about megabytes, kilobytes here. And back then it did only MIDI. There's no audio tracking.
Yeah, I remember that because yeah.
So this is Cubasis. So it's like the smaller sister of Cubase on desktop.
Right.
And here you can actually load audio units. And now you're loading it as a plugin, and you can't have multiple instruments. You don't do that on desktops either. But you can have multiple effects like that. So you can load multiple AU like audio unit extensions,
like in one channel strip configuration, right? Yeah.
It's it doesn't show that well on this camera, but if we look at the insert effect slot here, we can see that there's 5 slots. And if I open up one of them, like Brusfri here, it's from a Swedish company that I love a lot. They come from they're from Stockholm, where I live. So you guys are the best. And it's basically an app that just washes out stuff, you know. And there are more effects like this, but we're seeing drum machines, we're seeing effects, we're seeing samplers, we're seeing all kinds of stuff. So now you're able to work like you do.
That's your preferred way of working now that this is possible, because this is really your typical DAW you have on your desktop computer as well. You can have MIDI tracks, you can have audio tracks, you can record just like you're used to on the computer.
Yeah.
And now with the audio unit plugins you have here, you can just load other apps or synths or effects just directly in there and control them from one situation here, right?
Yeah, and the important thing is with audio unit extensions, you can load multiples of the same thing. You couldn't do that before.
Because you only had one instance of the app, right?
It opens up what developers call one pipeline.
Okay.
And that's one pipeline for audio in and out. You can't have multiples of the same app. So Thor, the synthesizer we just showed, can only run in one instance.
Right.
If you want 3 times Thor, you can't.
Right.
You have to sample it, bounce it, and then open up another channel and do it over there. But with audio unit extensions, you can load several instances of the same thing.
Cool. Yeah.
It's a game changer.
Definitely, yeah. When I saw this, like I've got Cubasis as well. I just bought it like when the new 2 point something came out. I think they just released some new update, and I was really blown away by that. Like how smooth it runs on a tablet device, which so far I only had like. Yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's not a computer. You don't expect much power to come out of that. But nowadays, it does work.
Yeah.
And what kind of iPad are you using here, by the way?
I'm using an iPad, I think it's a 2016 or 17 Pro. It's a 12.9 inch, so it's the huge one.
Yeah.
It's got a bevel, which I like with this because I carry my stuff around a lot.
Okay.
So I walk around into the kitchen, I get my coffee, and I'm producing at the same time.
Okay.
I'll hang I'll hang my laundry. What do you call it? My clothing. I'm laundering. I'm hanging them to dry while I'm producing on the go, and I'm holding it.
Okay.
That's a problem with the new iPads. There's no bevel, so when you touch the screen, they start to do weird stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really like the new iPads.
No, exactly. It's like I've upgraded my iPad now with the new 2018 Pro model.
Yeah.
And I have the same feeling, right? It's too thin around here. You always touch stuff, and of course, no headphone jack. Which I underestimated the importance, like really, because now there's the situation where you want to charge it and you want to listen to stuff and you might want to attach a USB peripheral. And that's getting tricky now because I don't think Apple has provided any solution for that problem really that is good quality, right?
They have solutions. I wouldn't call them solutions.
Right.
What they have provided are dongles, right?
Of course.
So they take something out of it and then they give it back to you as a white plastic thing, a dongle that doesn't really live anywhere. Where do you put it? It's so small. You put it in your pocket, you lose it straight away. Same thing with the Bluetooth headphones and stuff. And as a musician, why the heck should I have to stop and charge my listening devices after 6 hours of play?
Exactly.
That to me is absolutely mindlessly bonkers.
Yeah.
So for me it doesn't work, and a lot of people get angry with me for thinking that they removing that was stop complaining. But seriously, I use that all the time.
Exactly.
I have several different headphones at home. That is a problem. So if you want to get a new iPad, you have to think about that. You want to do the multi-dongle solution just for listening and charging at the same time?
Yeah. But is there actually a dongle? Because I haven't really found one which has
you have to go to the third-party companies.
Sure.
So Belkin, for instance, makes some, and their stuff are actually what's called MFI certified. This is very important. So anyone thinking of going into iOS, you have to make sure that when you buy connectors, adapters, lightning cables, that they are MFI certified from a brand. But this means that a brand will pay Apple for a licensing fee. It's probably a lot right out of the butt, like that. And what they get is instructions, they get schematics, they probably get some help, technical help, some chips, because these things are chipped so that iOS can interact with them, know that they are what they are, so no one can tamper. It's a really secure system. Yeah, they've made a secure system, so I'll give them credit for that. But it's really contrived and almost user hostile in a way, right?
Totally.
So you have to think about that. When you want to buy a connector like that, make sure it's MFI certified, because if you don't, and you buy one of these cheap ones of Amazon, it takes one upgrade. Apple puts out one upgrade, and suddenly that cheap connector never ever works again.
Right.
And you've been wasting your money. So that's why I tell people buy the real stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So, but that also means we kind of have to wait and see how the whole situation develops, and if maybe the next iPad will have like 2 or 3 USB-C ports, so you can connect several devices at once. That would be a good solution, I think.
Anyone who's using an iDevice, I say iDevice because I work off my iPhone. That's how I record all my videos. That's how all of my content is made, and then it's edited in here. But mainly on an iPad, it makes sense to have multiple USB slots, because it minimizes the dongle situation. Is that something Apple would want? I really don't think so. I think they want to keep selling dongles. I mean, it makes them money, which makes sense. It's a big company. They're selling hardware. They want to sell us hardware. They make new stuff all the time that aren't really as innovative anymore. They're just raising the price, kind of, which is, I don't like that, really. I mean, does it really justify the things they do? I don't think so, but that's my opinion. I'm sure that there might be some Apple people going to your channel now, and they're like, this dude is absolute, why did you talk to him?
No, but I'm totally with you on that, because I had like this moment after I got the new iPad where I was like, oh damn, that my whole workflow doesn't function anymore. But we'll see how that goes. So back to the apps. Cubasis, fully featured DAW.
Yeah, you asked me if this was my preferred workflow.
Yeah,
exactly. This is the thing. When I produce, I'm an old school type producer. I like the conventional DAW with the multi-trackings. So I like having my lanes like that. I like seeing my tracks. I like seeing my MIDI. I like all of that stuff. Very straightforward. I zoom in. I edit the piano roll by double tapping. But when it comes to live performances, now that's a different thing. Okay, Cubasis, doesn't really matter how good it is good. It's not meant for live performances. It ain't. Okay, so what you want to do then is have a look at something like AUM. AUM is a very, very cool app, because it is basically an audio, and it's become somewhat of a MIDI mixer. So I'm just going to try to find it here. So if we open this up, this is basically what you're dealing with right now. And what you have to do to add something is basically just add a channel like this, and then you choose audio or MIDI.
I've been a big fan of AUM as well, but I haven't upgraded to the newest version, apparently because I haven't seen the MIDI.
It might be that the developer is calling me right now and saying, like, what did you do? Did you show like an unreleased version? Either way, I just want to say that Jonathan Liljedahl, who made this, is amazing. He's an amazing developer, and you can see his work in so many apps. The thing is, you won't know that it is his work, because he works for other companies too. And so what you do is you add an audio track, for instance, and you add a plugin. So you go to the audio unit section, and let's say we want to add something like Axon, which is like some kind of a drum thing. And then you just route your stuff. You can have multiple windows open, and this is really the only app that does that on iOS. It is like working on a PC. You open up multiple windows of the stuff. It's the only app that does it. No, wait, there might be another one. I haven't looked at yet. This is the only one I know of right now that I've tried. So don't go crazy in the comment section if you know about something here. And then you choose your destinations. It's compatible with core compatible stuff. I mean, class compliant stuff like USB interfaces, like the Audiofuse from Arturia, which is a great companion.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I told the Thomann people to put it out here because I haven't really touched it and seen it live. And it seems like it has like everything you need because you've got the USB hub here.
That's a thing. That's actually a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you're working with, let's say you have an iPad and you have multiple instruments. If you have a regular gear studio where you have hardware synthesizers, then they usually, you kind of get the ones, if you like playing, you get them with keyboards. If you're an MPC style player, you get the attaQ, you get the MPC, you have the pad interface. With the iPad, it's all on the screen.
Right.
But many times you might want to do multiple stuffs at once. If you're using AUM, you have, let's say, 4 apps. 3 of them you want to control with MIDI controllers.
Right.
1 of them on screen. So what you do now? Yeah, now you get into a very, very muddy land because now you need a USB hub. The USB output doesn't really output 0.5 amps through the Lightning port. Maybe the USB-C does, I'm not sure.
I think it has a little better power specs, but I haven't really checked
I've managed to top it off at 220 milliamps.
Okay.
And that's with the USB 3 to Lightning connector.
Right.
It's an adapter where you can put a charger and the USB and then Lightning in. And then when you want to have multiple MIDI controllers, you have a USB hub powered to that, and you have a dongle mesh.
Exactly.
With this one, you connect it, it has wall power, it's powering a hub, it's completely compatible here. So you just hook your MIDI controllers up to the back of this one. And suddenly there's less of a mess with the hub and power for that one.
Exactly.
Everything goes through there, and you have your audio. You even have MIDI through dongles. I think.
Exactly. Yeah, those are the ones. The other ones like you have on the what's it called, the BeatStep Pro on the KeyStep.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, MIDI in and out on small jacks. You got digital in and out, right?
Yeah, that's the optical ones, and it's got the SPD. I say SPDIF.
Yeah, exactly.
We say that in Swedish, SPDIF. But the thing is with this one is that the price you pay, you get what you pay for, right? I think it's about what 600.
Yeah, maybe I think around 500 euros.
500 euros, maybe,
something like that.
Okay, so it for people that usually go for like the iPad platform or want to go completely mobile, usually they're like spending around maybe 200 euros or 1500 euros, and then this one can be a bit pricey. I mean, you get a lot of stuff here. What I used to use and still use is a Novation AudioHUB.
Okay.
It's the second type of audio interface that actually has a USB hub on it.
All right.
The problem is Novation that you stopped making it. A lot of people are asking for it, and that video I made, I mean, my channel isn't the biggest one, but it still keeps getting views because it's a perfect interface.
All right.
Sure, it doesn't have the Phantom, it doesn't have the XLR, it has RCA connectors on the input, you kind of have to use a mixer for it, but that USB thing, I always use a lot of MIDI controllers with my, and I don't want an extra,
no, exactly.
It just works
extra power supply, everything is just getting huger and huger, right?
Yeah.
And
that one was at 150 euros, I think.
Cool.
Yeah,
that was
very affordable,
price,
but they stopped making it. They stopped making it, and you won't find them used that often.
Sure,
people don't really sell them.
Right.
It's like a Digitact. How often do you find them used? People keep them.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just saying, like before we started recording, this is quite heavy, but I think with this lid here, it's still quite portable, right? I mean, everything's protected, and I can really see myself just carrying this around if I go on a longer trip, especially, right? I think everything. What I also like is here that you have those inputs.
Yeah.
That's outputs. I mean, phones on mini and the regular jacks,
and
right?
there's 2 of them.
Exactly. So you can even jam
for a
together,
beat maker
like
working together with a rap artist is perfect. Or someone playing guitar together with a singer. This thing is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got some really nice functionality on it. You should your viewers should check that one out if they're interested in something like that portable for maybe an iPad or a mobile solution.
I'll see if I can take that back to the hotel room actually, because I really want to check it out.
Yeah. Why don't you head on to Arturia, talk to them? Maybe you can have them send one to you. So So the workflow when I do live stuff is basically I try to tie more stuff together and I use MIDI controllers.
Okay.
That is it. And then I get some external stuff through MIDI outs and stuff like that, like USB MIDI and also DIN5 MIDI with some interfaces. And I connect Volcas, I connect pocket operators, I connect...
So you do also sequencing externally, right? With the vocals, of course. And then it just, the audio and MIDI runs into the iPad and you can then route it somewhere else, of course.
And you can get a multi-channel interface. You can get a multi-channel. I talked to I want to say Gareth, because that's Gaz Williams' real name is Gareth. Exactly. It's so nice. It's
like
nice
the Stormfront we're experiencing now.
He was a bit miffed about that.
Yeah,
I talked to him,
totally.
and he said like they named it after me, and don't say Gareth.
And it even grounded him, right? In Amsterdam.
They even grounded him. So he actually uses like a Behringer XR18 XR. I think it's like is it the one like the mixer? When you get this footage, you might look it up.
I'll look it up,
and put a picture in of it, so they can see it. And you actually get multi-tracks into your DAW. Multi-tracks on an iPad, 24-bit and up to 48.
Okay.
That's usually a good studio standard.
Of course.
Yeah, and sometimes, you might want to get that extra bit of headroom, like 96. But...
I mean, come on, we're on an iPad, right? This is amazing already.
Anyone watching my channels, hey, when you're loving my music, you're listening to 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz.
Oh wow!
That's the resolution. So if you like my music, then you didn't really care about the quality. I know that some of my viewers do.
Okay, but I'm totally with you. Like I'm recording in 16-bit most of the time as well, and I mean, if it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. So. Yeah, you showed us Thor as your go-to synthesizer then?
Yeah, it's one of them,
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else you have? Is there something that is, because this is very like a classic synth, right?
Yeah.
And what I also love about certain apps is that they really adapt well to the touch screen. And this is always the thing, some apps are really bad at that and you don't really want to use them because you miss the mouse. But some are really embracing this new interface technology. Have you found something there that you find mind-blowing or that has really gotten through to you because of an interface?
Well, actually, of course, but like I always show TC11.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mean, come on, this thing is just brilliant. It makes it interesting to explore. There's loads of presets in it. With version 2, it's just sick. Anyone that has an iPad should really go get TC11 because this thing is mad, and it looks nice, and it's nice to explore. You can make weird stuff, you can also make some really musical stuff, and it's a great performance tool. So if you're holding your iPad like that, if you got a big one and you're playing it, it looks really nice. So this is one thing that really takes like everything you have in the iPad, like the gyros, the vibrating it, shaking it around, bending, tilting, touching, multi-touch on the screen, 10 fingers. I've tried 12.
All right.
I had to borrow 2.
You had to borrow 2?
Yeah, I thought about using my toes, but I don't like putting my feet on this thing.
All right.
So my girlfriend helped me, but it's
you can even take the camera, right? The camera light sensor, something like that.
So there's so much you can do with it, right? So it really utilizes everything you can do with a touchscreen and an iDevice like this. So this one is a bang-up job on this one.
But let us quickly have a look at the Synth engine, because I love that app as well. I've done a collaboration with another YouTuber recently and made a short tutorial about a patch, because I find this is also not very difficult, right, to set up. So you don't need to be like a super synth nerd to get something out of it. You need to understand the concept.
If this is viewable, you could also zoom it in when you edit it, right? And it's going to be a bit fuzzy, but it doesn't really matter because you can clearly see a signal chain here, right? Yeah. So you can see a oscillator A going into the amp directly, and the multi-oscillator going directly into the amp. And this is basically how it works. If you want to add some more stuff and activate that, it's gonna make these lines, but it's really deep.
Yeah, I figured that out as well when I try to create my own patch from scratch.
Yeah,
you have to think about that real hard.
It took me hours.
Yeah, because you don't know what you really can do with it, right? You have like all those 10 fingers, tilt, and everything else. And it's like, okay, wow, how do I apply this to a sound to still make sense in a musical context, maybe, or in whatever you want to do?
Yeah.
But then, it clicks, and then I think it's a very nice way to work with your fingers and to work with the touchscreen interface.
Yeah,
especially.
absolutely. I mean, this is how you do it. Many apps today, they have some developers choose a flat design. This is obviously a flat design, right? But I personally like the skeuomorphic design, and for anyone who doesn't know that, it's when you make stuff look like as if it's real.
Right.
That's why the Moog Model D app looks like the Moog Model D hardware, because it's got a skeuomorphic design. Right. So it looks like the knobs are jutting out, and you have that whole thing there. Yeah, I love that, but I also like the flat design. So when it comes to actually utilizing the iPad, the flat design and making use of the actual stuff in there, like the gyros and everything, there's not that many apps that do that.
Right.
Many apps try to do the conventional thing. There's nothing bad in that. But I like seeing more like this.
Yes. Yeah.
This is insane what you can do with this.
I think the problem there is that many people find that very abstract and they're not used to it, and the skeuomorphic design gives them like some things to grab on, basically, because they've experienced like the real knobs, and when they look the same on the screen, then they're familiar with that a little bit.
Yeah,
but it limits you. It kind of limits you sometimes.
It does, but get a MIDI controller. Most apps have MIDI in and out, like most apps does, and usually they have MIDI learn or some kind of, being able to map them and stuff. So yeah, but if we look at some of the other synths I like, I mean, Thor is one of the older ones on iOS, and it's still good, but it doesn't come as an audio unit extension, so that makes it a problem. So one of the apps that I found recently that I use a whole bunch. I used it for my Mellow album. It is actually a synth called Volt Synth. It's made by a German, Kai Aras. And that guy does it in a very, very particular way. This is like a polysynth. It's got a polysynth sound, like the old, what's it called? Is it the old polysynths? Give me a name here. I'm dying. Yeah. Okay. Like the old synths like that. But the thing is, there's something he does with his, I don't know what it is he does exactly, but it can sound like a polysynth, but it has a very unique tone to it. I like finding those like third-party developers, not the hugest companies like Roland, Yamaha, or Korg. They make great stuff, but finding that one dude sitting in his bedroom, just doing this for a year, putting it out, and this one came out at the same time as the Moog Model D came out, and so people missed this one because the Moog Model D was kind of hot, which is awesome. It's hot, but I went and looked at this afterwards, and I found this to be one of my most used synth apps from when it came out during 2018. And so it ended up on a top list for me because this was completely brilliant for me. Sounded great, had a unique sound. I'm always looking for that,
You know why because I didn't find this app till very late, but the thing that sold me on it really was the MPE capabilities, because I love the instrument, and I have to practice the instrument at the moment, and this was one of the few apps that have a good interface, I think, for MPE sound design, because you've got this whole modulation section there, where you can have pressure, slide, mod wheel, and you can just very quickly assign the parameters to those controllers.
That's something that I get asked a lot nowadays when someone contacts me from a company and say like, hey, can you make some patches? And sometimes, many times now, they started asking me like, do you have an MP style controller? Okay. And I didn't. I didn't have one. The problem is I'm a bad keyboard player.
Me too.
So I tried using like a C-board. I got a C-board, but I had to send it back because it wasn't for me.
Right.
It's a cool instrument. It feels great and it's very, very useful. But if you're not a keyboard player, it's not for you. So, but I'm still looking at the light pad though, because that would still be useful, because MPE gives you a completely new set of tools to actually be expressive. And then it gets interesting when you can slightly move the filter with pressure when you're playing it. So it is interesting. Anyone doing MPE style stuff on an iPad, get volts in. Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you tried out the controller apps for MPE? I think there's a bunch of them where you just have like a keyboard.
Yeah, made by Kai too.
All right,
Yeah, KB1, I think. Yeah, that's Kai too. Yeah, he made it because people might not have that controller, so it's cheaper to get an app.
Sure.
And it can use I think, I'm not sure, but I think it can utilize the 3D touch.
Oh, right. Okay.
I haven't tried it on my iPhone because it doesn't exist on this iPad.
Yeah, right.
But it does exist on my iPhone, so I need to try that.
Yeah.
I need to try the 3D touch because then you have a little MPE style controller right in your pocket, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like the app because it's also very easy to follow. Right? You have like your
I've turned off the sliding.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So anyone that doesn't know, it does slide between the pages, but I turned that off because sometimes when I touch a knob, I might touch here.
All right.
And then when I pull, I'm pulling the whole page instead of the knob. So I turn that off and now I switch up here instead, which is easier for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I hope he continues developing these things because
me too.
MPE definitely, or the whole expressiveness, needs a little bit more love. I think.
Yeah.
It's coming along quite nicely already, but the push is currently not strong enough. I think to go into like a mainstream market yet. But it's such a game changer, and I just love to see more companies embracing that.
Talking about other apps that can kind of utilize this interface, there's an app called iKaossilator by Korg. Now, Korg, you haven't updated that in a while. Can you please make some new sounds, please? But the thing is, I mean, it works like a Chaos product. I've always loved the Chaos products. I've owned all of them.
Okay.
And I'm a big sucker for the Chaos product. So when I saw the app, of course, I had to try it. It really works like a Chaos product. So you have your ready sounds in there. You just touch it, and it's a quick way of making music instantly. And the same thing if you ever tried like Figure or something like that on your phone. Don't know how Figure is holding up right now since AudioHUB closed down. AudioHUB is the company that took over Figure from Propellerhead, and they closed down. So Figure, it sounds certain, but it's a great app.
It's cool, I thought because it's very similar to a Chaos Pad, right?
Yeah.
You just with your finger basically draw figures and then
but with its own completely thing, it's got a perfect. They've managed to get that recipe down. So someone please save that app. Yeah. It needs to be out there. I think there might be like millions of people using it right now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I thought the sounds that they provide were also very good for this. It's also almost kind of expressive, right? Because you always have the XY pad there.
You can do loads with it. You can modulate it and stuff, and it's all fingers on.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, me too. You can get super cool loops in just a few seconds with that app.
Then, of course, if we want to do like looping, sample looping, then you always have looping. But I'm sure a lot of people know that because Mike from Australia, the guy now running Audiobus, also. He basically made that, right? Yeah, and it got shown on the Tonight Show and stuff.
Exactly.
That was pretty awesome. He's an awesome developer, and he's also developing Audiobus, which is an alternative if you don't want to use AUM. Then you have Audiobus instead.
Yeah, I started with Audiobus when that came out because it was also like revolutionizing how you used or interconnected the apps, right? Because,
exactly.
Before you just couldn't create like this an effects chain, right? You have an input, an effect, and then the output, and it's all separate apps.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Then I discovered AUM, and I kind of stuck to that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, like, what is the state of Audiobus at the moment?
Audiobus, Michael is keeping on working on it. Yeah, it's getting updated, and it's getting things all the time. And for me, it kind of looks like there's almost a competition between these two now. And the thing is, they're very, very different. They kind of do the same thing, and so people might wonder, which one should I get? Since apps are so cheap, why don't you just get both and try them out? I had to. Sure. I had to really know. You can't learn that from a review only. I mean, you might learn points, but then again, you might want to go watch a video. From the Audio Dabbler.
Okay.
Because he kind of describes the differences between Audiobus and AUM really well. So go watch Mitch. Mitch is his name.
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, do that. I'll send you that link.
Cool.
So he explains it, but it's a workflow. So here you got pages. On AUM you have one page, and then when you get many channels, you start scrolling in sideways. Here they will just flip up and keep on, and it's a smaller one, so you can put more on one screen.
Okay.
And then it starts scrolling when you have a load.
Right.
You have the MIDI as its own page. You have the audio as its own page. In AUM, it's get mixed in.
Yeah.
So there's still some differences that can be important for some people.
Sure.
You have the mixer right in the same window in AUM, which can be hard to grasp if you have a lot of apps open at the same
Exactly,
time.
because then you have to scroll back and forth.
Yeah, but here you can go to the. We don't have a mixer now because we don't have multiple channels. But when you have multiple channels, you get the mixer. You go to the mixer page and you have only the mixer. This one, you can't open up several windows over the thing, but you can in AUM. You see, there are differences. So the workflow you choose, what you want, makes the difference because they can basically do the same thing. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you told me about the Mellow album that you released.
Yeah, I released that like maybe 1 or 2 months ago. So it's really fresh.
Okay.
It's completely different from all of the music I normally make. I make EDM, drum and bass, dubstep type music. I like the UK bass, I almost said, but not bass, but bass. I like the bass, I like that rough style. I want it to be gritty. I love grime and things like that. So I'm a big fan of like Novation products because they always put sounds like that in there. Yeah.
Do you got a favorite effect on the iPad that gives you that crunchiness?
I have several.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I have in my mind right now, my most favorite effect so far, because I made my Mellow album with that, and that is Discord 4 by Audio Damage.
Okay.
Audio Damage, oh, what a sick team those guys are.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're hearing this, I don't know if they will be, but they're sick. They're sick. They're putting out so many awesome apps out there. It's insane, and they don't cost much either.
Exactly, like the Axon that you showed, this what is it, algorithmic drum machine?
The Axon is made by them.
You have Quanta, this granular synth that also supports MPE, which is great.
So Discord 4 is basically this thing here, and it is a pitch shifter and a delay and a filter and a reverb in one, and you can modulate the delay tails and you can get dissonance in there. This is used on every track on my Mellow album to get a kind of a moving dissonance in my music. It's completely different from everything I make. It's slow, it's soft. The sounds are built from electric pianos. I use an app called Tynes from Klevgren, that Stockholm-based company I talked about. So go listen to my Mellow album. It's easy to find. Jakob Haq, my Mellow album. You'll find it
in the description
everywhere. So this is my most favorite app so far. But I've recently started using Bleeze Delay, and it's similar to this one. And I talked to those 3 guys. They're 3 Frenchmen.
All right.
They're awesome dudes. They're making the Bliss Groove Box, and I'm starting to like that one. For 2019, that might become my favorite, but I haven't decided yet.
All right, yeah. How do you keep track of all the apps? Because it's a jungle. Right?
I use the ones I use. I keep track of. The ones I don't use, I don't keep track of. But when someone asks me, like, is there a distortion you like? I'll instantly think of something. But it's not like I actively go and think about that. Yeah.
But then you have like, for me, it's always like I sometimes have time for music on the iPad, or like when I travel, and sometimes I don't, and then could be a few weeks or even months between that. So I would just very infrequently then just browse the App Store and just go from one app to the other, and in the end I might have bought like 5 apps, and it's very difficult to know what's a good app to use, right? And there are so many of them. Do you use any kind of, I don't know, news aggregator sites for app reviews when you choose which app you want to use? Never.
I never read customer reviews. I never really check reviews from others before I do my own. What I do, I grab it, I look at it, I use it. Do I like it? Do I want to invest more time in this? Because it's an investment for me. I invest my time into it. If I'm doing it but I don't like it, then I'm wasting time, right? I don't want to waste time. So I just grab it. If I like it, I invest my time, and then I put out a really thorough review. So people can always, when they come to my channel, it's not a 5-minute, this is what you use for that and this. I don't talk over music. I make a production. It's a pacing in there. It's a show. I want you to get the full grasp. I make music with it. I take hours and hours making new music for every episode. And you should know how it looks like when you use it, the interface, and so the price doesn't really matter on iOS. I know some people complain, but it doesn't matter because
like even
Apple,
the €50 apps are like so much more expensive on desktops, and you get so much content in there and so much functionality.
Apple has created a system that devaluates the effort that put in by developers. Seriously. So I wish that people could see that, and that's why I interview developers and put them up front in my videos.
Right.
Yeah. So they can see and hear that this is a person putting on this same amount of time that he does for this or she that he or she does for desktop or stuff like that. So only it's more affordable, way more affordable, 10 times affordable.
Yeah. And while we're on topic on the whole video production, because I think we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, I
soon.
think so too.
But what interests me also is the video editing, because you also edit your videos
on
the iPad.
There's one app needed. One app needed.
All right.
One app needed. Okay. I'm gonna say it once. I hope Terry from LumaFusion listens to this, or LumaTouch. This is the best app, most capable app on iOS. Adobe has made one. I'm really disappointed with them. They could have done better.
Right.
They have a huge team of developers. Adobe, they did some cool things with the colorings but no. You have to pay in-app purchases to use it for longer.
And the
subscribe.
subscription
No. Forget that. Go get LumaFusion. It's the only one you need. You're not going to be able to work like you do in Premiere, but it's the closest thing.
Right.
Yeah. It has keyframings. I'm doing my animations in here. Somewhat. I do everything in it. I even make my thumbnails in this. Export it as a video and snapshot it and take that picture as a thumbnail. So my latest thumbnails that I work on, I spend 1 or 2 hours on it inside here, and I just work with layers and.
Do you have like a project on there, like from a recent YouTube videos of yours, that you can just quickly
that I can show? This is the thing. I'm limited on space, so I have to delete stuff all the time. But then again, I have something for an iK multimedia thing, here, so you can see a project how I work, and it's right here, right now. I don't know how good this is. Shows.
Yeah, I mean, you can see like the video track, right? You have audio tracks.
You have 3 audio tracks. You have 3 video tracks. And the cool thing is the video tracks aren't just videos. So you can put in a picture there or a text layer. The text layers can hold pictures. They can hold PNG pictures, TIFF pictures. So if you have something with a transparent background, you can have shapes in there. You can have different colors. And you can color everything. You can use effects on there. You can keyframe everything. Come on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't cost much.
Crazy. I always say crazy. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm just overwhelmed at what is possible nowadays on the iPad.
Yeah. There are people saying like, I want to do this, but I need this camera, that camera.
Right.
I say I started this with one iPhone. Yeah. And in the beginning, I edited it on the iPhone. If you have a smartphone and you want to start making content, if you're not starting when you have a smartphone, then you don't even bother. Don't even bother. Just go do it. Stop talking, do it. You have a studio in your pocket all the time. Yeah. I carry my studio with me. That's why I wanted to get into this. Stop talking, do it. Cool. Just do it.
All right, then let us stop talking now and do some stuff. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
And Jakob from Haq attaQ. Go visit his channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. I put all the links in the video description. And I look forward to more stuff here at Thomann Synth Reactor 2019.
Yeah, me too. This is a cool place.
It is, definitely. So awesome. See you later.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, great. We're done.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.